Calais Campbell's future with the Miami Dolphins seems to be hanging in the balance, and it's a situation that's drawing attention for all the right reasons, and maybe a few frustrating ones. The towering defensive tackle isn't just a seasoned veteran, he's a leader, a motivator, and a player who still commands respect in every locker room he steps into. But now, with Miami's playoff hopes flickering like a candle in a windstorm, the conversation has shifted. Could Campbell, at this critical juncture in his career, find himself released to chase a Super Bowl ring elsewhere? It's not just speculation anymore, it's something Campbell himself has hinted at. "I'm cherishing this moment," Campbell told reporters earlier this week. "It's not hard to understand why. For a player who's seen it all, big wins, crushing losses, Pro Bowls, and postseason heartbreaks, every snap feels like a gift." But there's an unmistakable undercurrent to his words. When he says, "I feel like this team is so much better than how we've been playing," it's not just a critique of Miami's struggles this season. It's a lament for a group he clearly believes in but that hasn't lived up to its potential. And here's the thing, Campbell isn't wrong. This Dolphins roster has flashes of brilliance, moments when you think, this is a team that could do damage. But those moments have been too few, too inconsistent, and now they're staring down the possibility of being eliminated from playoff contention. If that happens, the Dolphins might do what's best for Campbell, release him and let him chase glory with a team primed for a deep postseason run. Campbell didn't outright say he's asking for a release, but the possibility is clearly on his mind. Reflecting on conversations that happened earlier this season, Campbell shared, "Weeks back before the trade deadline and stuff, there was a small conversation that you really didn't hope would ever even become a thing. And it was kind of like just something to talk about. Nothing concrete or anything like that. I don't know if we're there just yet, but it's definitely something you think about." Those words feel weighty. They're not a demand, but they carry the undertone of a player who understands the reality of where his team stands. Miami has been fighting an uphill battle all year, and despite some gutsy performances, it's not clear they have enough left to overcome the odds. But let's rewind for a second. This isn't the first time Campbell's name has come up in these kinds of discussions. Earlier this season, there was serious chatter about him heading to the Baltimore Ravens at the trade deadline. Miami head coach Mike McDaniel admitted he personally blocked the move, saying he threw what he jokingly called an adult temper tantrum to keep Campbell on the roster. At the time, the Dolphins were sitting at 2-6, and making the playoffs felt like an impossible dream. Yet McDaniel dug in his heels, convinced Campbell was a piece Miami couldn't afford to lose, not then, not for the future, and not for the culture he's trying to build. McDaniel owned up to his decision, saying in November, "It speaks to what Campbell means to the team, that teams would be willing to do that, and there was some competition for that. But yeah, my job is to speak on behalf of what's the best thing for the 2024 Dolphins." It's a fascinating perspective. McDaniel wasn't just thinking about wins and losses in the moment, he was looking at the big picture, at what Campbell brings to the team beyond the stat sheet. And honestly, it's hard to argue with that logic. Leadership like Campbell's is rare, and even in a season where Miami hasn't met expectations, his presence has been invaluable. Yet now, with the season potentially slipping away, the question isn't about the long-term impact. It's about what's best for Campbell. He's 37 years old. He's accomplished just about everything a defensive lineman can in this league, except hoist the Lombardi Trophy. If the Dolphins can't give him a shot at that dream, should they stand in his way if another team comes calling? For his part, Campbell is taking everything in stride. "Oh, I never live in regrets," he said when asked if he wished the Ravens trade had gone through. "There's no wrong decision, you just make a decision and you rock with it. In this business, they rarely involve the player in the decisions. I just show up and be the best professional I can be and help my team win." That's a class act right there. No bitterness, no second guessing, just a commitment to giving his all, no matter the circumstances. And if this really is his last stretch with the Dolphins, you better believe he's going to make it count. But here's the kicker, the Dolphins still have a chance. Slim as it might be, they're not out of the playoff race yet. Sunday's game against the San Francisco 49ers is a must-win, not just for the team but for its identity. Can they rally around a guy like Campbell, who's poured everything into this season, and prove they belong in the postseason conversation? It won't be easy. The 49ers are no joke, and Miami's margin for error is razor-thin. But sometimes, desperation can bring out the best in a team. Maybe this is the moment where everything clicks, where the talent and the potential finally translate into results. And if not, well, the Dolphins will have some tough decisions to make. Releasing Campbell would be a bittersweet move, a nod to what he deserves, and an admission of where the team is. But for now, all anyone can do is wait and see how Sunday plays out. One thing's for sure, Calais Campbell isn't going to stop fighting. Whether he's suiting up for Miami or chasing a Super Bowl ring elsewhere, he's a player who leaves it all on the field. And no matter what happens, that's something worth celebrating.